Hi there, this is Jennifer Moore. Normally, I'm from empathicmastery.com, but today I have the privilege of being over here on Mommy Rebellion because I am interviewing the crew over at Mommy Rebellion since they have a new baby sister. So, why don't you tell us your name, your age, and where do you fit in the family today?
Um, my name is Bella. I am 8, going to be 9 in January, and I'm the middle child because it's Lorelai and Kaylee, and then it's Claire and Mivy, so I'm right in the middle.
You are right in the middle. So before I get into all of the other questions, actually, what is it like being the middle child?
Well, we like to do this fun thing, so like Kaylee's the beginning, Lorelai's the boring part. I'm the interesting part because I'm the middle.
Oh,
And
you are
then
the interesting part. Yeah.
and
You
then
know, go
Claire is
on.
Claire's the false ending, and then Mivy's the actual ending because Mivy was.
Right, right. So, you know what comes to my mind is like it's like if you thought about bookends, it's like you've got you've got your youngest sister and your oldest sister like on one side, and you are the really interesting book in the middle of everything.
Yes, before we move on away, Kaylee and Claire would be the bookends, like the bookends go to bed, or the middles go to bed, but that's
Yeah,
how they would refer to us because me and Lois sleep in one and they sleep in one, but it happens to be the bookends.
it happens to be the
The middles.
bookends, exactly, the middles. So, I guess the first question I have for you is now that we've established, Bella, that you are 8 and you're the middle child, and you really are like smack dab in the middle of everything. Do you remember the last time your family had a baby? Do you remember what it was like when Clara was born?
I was 1. I
You
meant
were 1
or 2. I
or
was
2.
I was in the middle. We're only 1 year apart, so no. I
Yeah,
did.
no.
I just remember them telling me that I remember they tell me this so that I wanted her for my birthday.
You
But
wanted her for your
I wanted
birthday.
a baby sister for my birthday, though she was still a surprise.
Yes, absolutely. Wow. So that means you must have been talking pretty early if you could say that, before you were 1, you wanted a baby sister for your birthday.
No, no, I think it was my second birthday,
Your
actually.
second birthday? Okay.
I was
Yeah.
1 or 2, but definitely not below, no, 1.
No, because well, Clara just turned 7.
7.
Yeah. And if you're
Um,
now, are you almost about to turn 9?
I'm gonna be 9 in January.
Ah, yeah. So you were probably, yeah, you were over a year old when you were saying, "Hey, I'd like to have a baby sister." But it's completely understandable. You don't really remember what happened. So, I guess the next question would be, so let's fast forward since Clara was, so close to in age that you don't necessarily remember. So, my next question for you is, were you excited when you learned that your mom was pregnant with Mivy?
That's complicated. So it's funny how it happened. So Mummy Kaylee figured out because she remembered how Mummy acts when she's when she's pregnant because she's been here for 3 of them.
Uh-huh.
Um, so Kaylee knew, and it was in the night in the summer. Daddy was in India because he had
Yes.
to be there for work for
Yeah.
70 days. How
I
long?
know. It was wild how long he was gone, huh?
And they figured out Mum was pregnant 3 days before he left. So that was
Yeah.
also tricky.
That was very tricky.
But
Very tricky. Yeah.
it was in the middle of the night because I couldn't sleep because I was missing Daddy. And I
Mm-hmm.
came in and Mummy was reading about babies and I read over her shoulder and then she told me she said
Mm.
I had to keep a secret because we didn't want to tell Lola and Claire because they didn't want them to get excited because Mum didn't know if she could actually have her if she
Mm-hmm.
had all the things
Mm-hmm.
because she
Mm-hmm.
was over 40. She's 40.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, and as our bodies age, pregnancy becomes more challenging. So that was a really so how was it? So actually, how did it feel to have to keep that secret from your sisters?
It was hard, but I really didn't mention it that much. I mean, when she first told me, I kept on thinking it was a dream.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, especially since you woke up in the middle of the night.
It was maybe 10ish. I was still
Okay.
awake. I couldn't fall asleep.
Oh, you couldn't fall asleep. So you hadn't woken up. You couldn't fall asleep. Yeah. But still, it's like you're kind of in that dreamy space. So maybe I dreamed it. But obviously you did not dream it because you have a beautiful baby sister. Yeah. So, so I guess the next question is, were you worried or concerned about the new baby?
I was still in the dream state. I felt nothing but shock,
Nothing but
really.
shock. Yeah.
Shock
Yeah.
and excitement.
Yeah. And so let's talk a little bit about the excitement. What kind of excitement was it? What were you thinking?
I was excited for another baby because I didn't remember Clara.
No. Yeah.
I was excited to see it. I was excited.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I
It's
didn't.
really different being a big sister when you're old enough to know that you're a big sister, I think. I'm a big sister. I'm actually the oldest in the birth order. So I have a little sister and a little brother. And I was 3 when my sister was born, but I was just about to turn 6 when my brother was born. And I still remember like what it was like to hold him when he was really tiny. And it was so special.
Yeah. Lorelai was 3 when I was born.
Mm,
I think she was someone almost 4 someone. She's in August. So it would make sense she was close to being 4.
yeah, yeah. So the question sort of about as after learning about your mom's pregnancy, that your mom was pregnant, let's just fast forward to let's actually just go through like what it was like to be living with a pregnant mom. And were there any things about that you noticed in particular? And actually, I got a question for you. Do you have any advice for other kids whose moms are going through a pregnancy?
Well, there's always this don't complain what they feed you.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just trying to get by with everything, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it took us a month to get sick of pizza
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
that was all she was gonna do. 'Cause she had to bring us to Girl Scouts. She had to do that, and she had to cook dinner when she got home, which was around 8ish because
Oh my goodness.
it was a mess.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
Yeah. So, yeah, and I can tell, I feel your pain, sister, because when I was first starting my business, we were eating pizza for lunch almost every single day. I never dreamed you could get sick of pizza, but
people
you
did all,
can.
when we tell the friends, they were like, "You could get sick of pizza."
I know. I mean, that's an
But
extreme case when you eat so much pizza that you're just like, if I see another slice of pizza, yeah, yeah. I definitely do not love
it's
pizza the way I once did.
it's just like
Yeah.
not. Well, I mean, it weared off. Now we're like excited when pizza happens because Dad can't have cheese,
Yes. Yes.
and we were all cheesy when Dad was gone. Very.
Hmm. Oh, so dad can't have cheese. So that must have been really great to be able to have
Yeah.
cheese. Yeah.
I mean,
But
he can have dairy, but it's the A1 milk, the stuff they feed them. He's
yes.
allergic to.
Oh, wow.
But he had fun like us because
Hmm.
they have A2 milk, so they don't have the same thing. So he's not allergic to that milk because they don't feed him the way he's
Hmm.
allergic to. So he got to eat lots of dairy.
Oh, very cool. Which, this is a whole other interview and conversation and not necessarily our area of expertise, but it's a really interesting thing. What you're saying is that what we feed our livestock makes a huge difference in the quality of our dairy, the quality of our eggs, the quality of pretty much everything. But and I know you guys know a lot more about that than a lot of other families because you guys raise livestock.
Yes, and Mummy is now taking. Mum can't have gluten because she doesn't have it, so that's another odd thing. And
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Mummy's now doing stuff for her hygienos because our grandmother has gotten breast cancer, and Mum wants to make sure she doesn't have that when she's going through it.
Yes, absolutely. It's very important to do things to eat in ways that support our bodies. And, this kind of leads to the question that was the next question, which was, what did you like and not like about your mom being pregnant? Now, we obviously know that the eating certain kinds of food or having to eat pizza over and over and over again was one of the things you
Um,
didn't like.
I
Was there
mean,
anything else that you didn't like about your mom being pregnant?
well, well, there was always that she kept on having to go to the doctors and stuff, but that was really it. I mean, I was mostly excited.
Yeah, absolutely. So being excited was one of the things that you really liked about your mom being pregnant. Was there anything else you liked?
I mean, I learned a lot about babies and stuff, but I was getting a new sister.
Yeah. Well, and I remember one of the things I used to really love about especially when I was a kid, was I loved being able to put my hand on my mom's belly and feel my brother and my sister moving inside of her. Was that one of the things that you loved?
Yes, yeah. I I I mean, it was cool. She kicked and
Yeah.
punched. Well,
Yeah.
she
Did
didn't
you?
punch, but she kicked and moved around a lot. And
Yeah.
it was also really cool to come to a midwife things when I got to hear it and and just feel it and stuff. It was so cool.
That is so cool. Yeah, back when my brother was born, I mean, we're talking like 52 years ago. So we didn't get to do things like go see an ultrasound or listen to the heartbeat, but I still remember that feeling of like putting my hand on my mom's stomach and feeling my brother in there and and what it's like to kind of, I don't know, did you ever, one of the things I also really love to do when babies are inside of people is I love to sing to them. Did you ever like whisper to Mivy or sing songs to her or read stories to her or tell her anything?
No, but she liked musicals, so to this day, like Mummy, when she was playing it, we watched The Great Showman. She would just put the music on, and maybe would just
Oh my
dance as much as
goodness.
she could, or do or there was Frozen 2. She also
Uh-huh.
likes that. I mean, there was a lot. And when we watched Cats, this was when she was born.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the musical because it was a free thing.
Yeah.
Uh, she would just lean and start dancing and on Daddy's lap. It's the one. It's the few musical Dad will um do
Actually
because
what?
yes,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
but she
I
would just she likes
wow.
music.
She does.
We
Yeah.
found
I have to say Mivy is probably one of the happiest people I've ever met. She is so happy.
yes, she is very happy.
Yeah.
We also found a band for her.
Yeah, gonna have to form a band for her and maybe even a
No,
dance troupe. No.
no. We
No.
found a band on YouTube called Pomplamoose.
Oh, you found a band called Pomplamoose. Oh, how cool is
She
that?
loves it. She just loves it. It puts her to sleep. She has her own. We can make these little albums
Hmm.
with our own music, and mostly all of them are Pomplamoose. She loves it.
Wow. Wow, that is so cool. Do you know what the word pamplemousse means?
It's a kind of fruit.
Guess what kind of it is? So pamplemousse is the French word for grapefruit.
Cool.
Isn't that neat? I love pamplemousse way better than grapefruit. I think it's such a wonderful word. I've always loved that word. So this actually kind of leads into the next question because we're talking about how musical Mivy has been since like she was like swimming around inside of your mom. And that is what surprised you about your little sister?
I don't know. I mean, she's had opinions since she was the size of a peanut.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't
And what do you
know.
think about her opinions? Like what do you like what do you know about her opinions? How would you describe them?
Well. she I don't know how to describe it, but she doesn't see much people, so she will like cling to people,
Mm-hmm.
and she has opinions about who she wants. Like, I want a goose. She will die for them, or this is special for Laura. She go la 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 la,
Oh my goodness, that is so special.
and do this at the same time, like blah blah blah
Yeah,
blah
yeah.
blah. She likes to Keely taught her that, and I taught her the tongue thing. So
Oh, you taught her the tongue thing? The like
no
that?
this, no this.
Oh, no.
Now she just does that at me.
Yeah, that's fun. You guys can teach her all kinds of things, especially stuff that can drive your parents crazy, huh?
Well, they don't. Dad likes to take advantage of the tongue.
Oh, I see. So, next question is, are there things that you don't like or you find frustrating about having Mivy or about Mivy herself?
Well, she's getting her top teeth in, so she can stop biting.
Oh my goodness.
And she was biting before she got her top teeth in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and when they start teething and they start, I remember like I've had a I've when a baby like chews on your finger, their jaws are surprisingly strong. It's like you wouldn't think that somebody that little could bite so hard. So I hear that the most frustrating thing is basically that she's learning how to bite.
Yeah. Oh, and another thing about her opinions. She has opinions about she wears. She is pink. She gets annoyed when there's no pink clean.
Oh my goodness. Yes. So she definitely has some serious opinions and preferences about what it is she likes. Has she, now I know she's still breastfeeding a lot, but is she eating much solid food at this point?
Well, when we eat dinner, she has a high chair, so they feed us. So she's eating potatoes, meat, puffs. Well,
Mm-hmm.
puffs are baby food, so I
Mm-hmm.
guess not.
Mm-hmm.
I think she ate a turnip once. Yeah, she ate a turnip and chips. Like mommy, she's like, mommy, well, she was just gaze at mommy's food, and when mommy gave her the food, mommy said like it was like she was like, I was wondering where you're gonna get me some.
Mm-hmm. And
She steals food.
she steals food.
But she always has a shocked expression.
Oh, yeah, kind of like, what is this strange thing?
Especially when she first had ice cream, it just
Oh,
spilled
wow.
everywhere.
Oh my goodness.
But
Yeah.
but she likes lemon, and that wasn't lemon; it was blueberry, so that might have been it.
So that's really interesting. Yeah, when my little sister was a baby, she liked to do this thing where she gave herself food baths. And I don't know if you've ever seen any of the pictures of babies dumping bowls of food over their head, but my sister was one of those people who would stick her hands into like spaghetti sauce or ice cream or anything or pudding, and then she just smeared it all over her whole body because she just really loved to engage with her food. So um, I don't know if Mivy's ever done anything like that where you're saying she got really messy.
Oh, watermelon?
Watermelon?
I think there was another thing. What was it? What was it? Spaghetti squash.
Mm-hmm.
Any liquidy kind of foody
Yeah,
thing. I mean, even with bread or meat, it would just smear across her face.
all across her
She's like
face.
that.
Yeah, yeah,
Two, there are two more things I find a little annoying about her.
yeah.
She's
Mm-hmm.
learning how to crawl, so she will walk around to get your things. Like if you move it out of her reach, she will go get it.
Mm-hmm.
That's another annoying thing. The
I was
other,
actually going to ask you if she started to get into your stuff as the bigger sister yet.
yes, yes,
Yeah,
she has.
yeah.
The other thing that is slightly annoying is she likes to do this. I can show you on my mouth. On me.
On you. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
on Kaylee, she will actually do it on her nose.
Oh my
She's the,
goodness.
she's the only one that she will do it on. I mean, she did it in the beginning, but now she's still doing it only on Kaylee.
Oh
It
my
used to be
goodness.
everyone, but now it's only Kaylee.
Wow. That it must be very funny to look at or to watch, but I bet it's a little weird when it's being done to you.
Yes.
So, so you were saying that, now that she's crawling and she can get into stuff, and particularly she wants your stuff, and even if you remove it, she will actually go after it. And that's really annoying. And then the licking thing, or whatever you would even call that, is the other thing that's annoying.
Kissing, rub kissing.
Rub kissing. Okay. Is there anything else that you're sort of like, oh God, this is so frustrating?
Well, sometimes I'm just frustrated when I need to watch her because she she's going after your face and your hair and your mouth, especially your mouth. So that's another thing that's on the downside.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Well, and I don't know if you ever wear any jewelry or anything, but one of the things I discovered when you're around really little babies is you've got to be really careful about earrings and jewelry because they will grab everything and just pull it everywhere. So I know that I had to learn how to like dress for littles to keep myself from getting like having all my stuff put in their mouth.
Well, Mommy doesn't wear earrings unless she's going to a fancy place, which isn't happening right now because of it.
No, because we're in a pandemic. Yeah.
Yes, Kaylee. She doesn't go after Kaylee's earrings, even though she's wearing long dangle earrings. But if they're
Yeah.
just like they're still in her like around there, she
Yeah,
won't. I
studs.
mean, she has
Yeah.
these. Well, not studs exactly.
No, like
She has
hoops
these,
or something.
she has these long feathers earrings that she'll go
Uh-huh.
after, but I've never seen her go after earrings. She likes jewelry, the
Mm-hmm.
necklaces, but I mean, I don't wear jewelry that much either. I mean, I don't have my ears pierced, so there's not. I mean, that's the only kind of jewelry I'm interested in is
Yeah.
earrings.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, clip-ons, no, thank you. I'm not
Those
so
hurt your ears.
they do. They hurt way more than having pierced ears does. Yeah. Yeah. So next question, because I think we've kind of covered all of the frustration things, unless
Yes.
there's anything else that you wanted to say about frustrating things.
Claire always seems to grab the baby, even when she's happy. That's it.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So that what I hear in that is that it's also about sort of the frustration of how other people relate to her. So it's not necessarily her herself, but it's kind of like the whole group.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with Mavonri.
No.
Mhm.
No.
It's
So
just
that kind of leads to the next question, which is, do you think that your relationship with Mavanwe is going to change as she grows?
yes and no. I mean, I know we're going to go be pursuing our dreams, where she's stuck at home. So I think that will change how we're
Mm-hmm.
not always there. I
Yeah.
mean, she also have her hip distance. We will just drop in and take her away. But I think it's just going to change about we not being there all the time. I mean, mommy and daddy are starting to think, is it is it what is it going to be a they're starting to think maybe they're starting to think maybe we should get a puppy or another child. Like it's in that area because my bond is gonna be lonely.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, what do you think of that?
I mean, I'm afraid. I mean, they're talking about doing it after our cats have passed away, which I
Mm-hmm.
think is a good idea because Charlotte's around the 12 area. She's in between Caitlin and Lorelai.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She's older than Lorelai but younger than Kaylee.
Mm-hmm.
But she's been through a lot, and I know Nymphy, our neighbor's dogs came over, and she ran, like straight
Yeah.
ran up a dead tree, like ran.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a good idea. But now that I'm getting older, I'm finding breeds of dogs that don't bother me as much.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I mean, one of our neighbor's dogs. Her name's Miley. She's super fluffy and friendly. I don't know her breed, but she's nice.
Nice, nice.
Also, like bulldogs. They well, when I noticed I like bulldogs was when our cousin's bulldog passed away.
Mm, oh,
And
that is
it's
sad.
and I think back on to the memories of like their father just putting a monkey face on him and us running around, running away from him because he could get on the trampoline. And it was
Mm,
just so yeah, it's just so fun.
it
It's
is
yeah.
fun. Yeah. Yeah. We have, I think, we have a pug that we have, and
Oh
who,
yeah.
yeah, Bob. I don't know if your mom has been showing all the pictures. Bob has been posting a lot of social media posts about getting people out to vote lately. But Bob and bulldogs are both, pugs and bulldogs are in the same category of dog. I don't know if you've ever heard the term. They're called brachycephalic dogs, which means that their faces are smushed, and it's a special kind of, it's a special sort of category of dog breed. But I really love the brachies. They're very special kinds of dogs, and we've, Bob is our fourth pug, but we had a kitty who was similarly scared of dogs, our cat Lyra, and so we decided to wait on bringing in any new dogs because she just got really freaked out by dogs too, so I get
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, some Thanksgiving ago. I think like I was 7 or something.
Mm-hmm.
But it was before. It was at. I think. Yeah. I don't know. But the family who had Charlotte were a family of 7. 10 because they had 7 kids.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 3 of them were out of the house because they were more as teenagers. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
there was some. My friend Agnes, she was only 7, so she would like to pick up the cat and stuff. But they had a dog named, I can't remember her name because we haven't been there in a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but it was this big dog that kind of reminded me of a bulldog, but didn't have the squish, but it was that coloring. I think it
Mm-hmm.
was a girl. Um, but she would chase Charlotte around. Charlotte had to climb up onto the fridge just to eat alone. And she was getting old, so she couldn't do those high jumps or those running anymore. And how we got her was the owner found out she was allergic to cats, so it was kind of funny how we got her. She said, if you sit for the Thanksgiving photo, because Claire doesn't like photos, as we all know,
Yes, we definitely know.
I will give you a cat. And all of us thought she was kidding, except for mom and dad. Kaylee said thought she was kidding and stuff, but Ashley became home with Charlotte. And Charlotte's a super
Wow.
light cat. Like, I was crying today over dishwasher because annoyance. But
Mm-hmm.
Charlotte actually came and started to, like, try to get me to snuggle her or jump up. Like, I was walking downstairs and she would just try to jump up on me to have kiss me. She's she's a really nice cat.
She is. Well, and even at 12, our cat Lyra just died in March and she was 19. So you got a ways to go with Charlotte, I betcha. Because 12 and 19, there's a big difference between those two
Yeah,
numbers. Yeah,
Daddy,
yeah,
Dad, Daddy had a cat who lived to 18.
yeah, yeah. Cats can live a long time. So I love
Hit
how
them the
you're
right way.
really, so I love how you know that the biggest change in your relationship with Mivy is really going to be about the fact that you'll be moving out of the house at some point before she does. And then, and just can you imagine all the adventures that you're going to get to be able to take her on, and all of the exciting things that you're going to get to introduce her to?
I
And
mean,
actually, what do you think is, like, if there's like a special thing that you're really good at or that you really love, what do you want to introduce Mivy to? Like, what is the thing that you're like, this kid needs to learn about this because it is the bomb?
I mean, I love building and I love engineering. I want to be an engineer. And that's really times to hear. I, I, I have a lot of teeth losing, so I don't know how to say that.
Is there like,
But
is there a book that when she's old enough to read it or old enough to hear it that you're like, I have to read this book to her?
I mean, not exactly. But I'm sure there will be stuff.
Yeah.
It's complicated because
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just. I mean, I know when I build something extraordinary, I will want her to come see it because why not?
Exactly.
But,
Exactly.
I
Well,
mean,
if she's so happy, I bet she's going to be one of your best cheerleaders too.
hmm, I don't know.
Yeah.
I
You
mean,
don't know? I just think my sense is she's going to be somebody who's going to be incredibly supportive of you in
oh
whatever
yes,
you
that
do.
makes sense.
Yes, that's what being a
It's
cheerleader
just
is. Yeah.
being an engineer. I know that I won't be able to see my sisters as much, but
Yeah.
I'm thinking about maybe being an engineer for NASA because Lola wants to be an astronaut, but not
Mm-hmm.
actually go into space.
Mm-hmm.
But and maybe and she wants to do it for NASA, so we might be able to see the kids out like that. But I don't know. I mean, I just don't know. That's what I want to do, but I don't know what the future will bring.
Yes, I think right now a lot of us don't know what the future will bring. Yeah. So I'm going to ask you another question about your sister. Or, well,
Okay.
actually, this is kind of not quite a question about your sister, but this is a question for parents in particular. So, this is a question about if you could tell other people, other families, other parents about introducing a new member of the family, what would you suggest? What advice would you give to parents who want to bring a new brother or sister into the family?
Well, not to tell them too soon because you could lose the baby or it could be false pregnancy. So
Yes.
maybe you should just wait a couple months in until you know for sure,
Mm-hmm.
not to get your
Mm-hmm.
hopes up because that's what mom had to do in case she had to have to get rid of the baby. She didn't want to do it, but if she didn't have the right things, it would have to be done. That's why she didn't want me to keep the secret.
Right, right. And that goes back to, I mean, it's kind of like you just happened to the cat got let out of the bag, you kind of happened to see her reading the book about babies and we're like, "Hey, what's this all about?" And so you knew before she was maybe ready to tell you and get, in that I'm imagining in the
It,
first trimester.
I think it was. I mean, no, she said it was long before the first. I mean,
It was so it was in the
it
first so it was like in the
was.
first 3 months of her being pregnant that you learned.
It wasn't. Okay, I don't know exactly, but
Yeah.
it's been. It had only. They found out that she was pregnant when I bridged into being a brownie.
Mm-hmm.
I
Which
had. I
congratulations.
yes, but
That's a big deal.
it's been a year now, and now
That's
Clara
so
has.
awesome.
So next year I'll be a junior.
That's so exciting.
There's much funner things when you as you get higher. There's more fun things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I was suspicious about how Mom was acting for a tiny bit, but it wasn't a book about babies. She knew she had four of us. She knew all about it, but
Yeah.
it was the midwife who delivered me and Clara had sent her this thing about babies and things to check before stuff and things. It was before she got checked, and I think that was she got checked before. I think the first trimester. I'm not quite sure,
Yeah.
but she was at least a couple weeks in,
Yeah. So it was very early.
enough
So
to see
so
her
since,
belly being
the
a little
advice
bigger.
the advice you were giving was, if you can possibly help it, don't tell the other family members until the pregnancy is a sure thing.
Yes.
But yeah, but you learned before it was a sure thing. And I guess, how was that for you, knowing that this incredibly exciting thing was happening, but it wasn't, it wasn't a guarantee? Would that be a way to say it?
I mean, I don't know. I was excited. I was shocked. I well, that whole night until the morning, I thought it was a dream.
Mm.
It was hard to keep the secret, but I only did it because I woke up and read it over her shoulder. I am very good at reading. I still accidentally read over her shoulder when she's texting on it.
Ah. Yeah, you know, I will say that not reading over somebody's shoulder is a learned art. It's a learned
I,
skill. Yeah.
I'm still working on it, but
Yeah, yeah.
I was only
I'm married to somebody who needs privacy sometimes, as a because he's a psychotherapist. And so sometimes I'll walk behind him, behind his laptop on the cat, because he sits on one couch, and then there's, there's sort of a passageway behind the couch. So there are times where it's like I have to walk by and not look at the computer. So I've had to learn how to do that, though. It's definitely a skill.
yeah.
Yeah.
I, I was it was a beginning. So I bridged in no, it was not my sister. It was before my sister's birthday, like I think July or June. I mean, if I know what the day is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think it was the 8th or 7th. If you want me to make sure what month it is, I can go grab the
Oh,
calendar.
don't worry about it. I mean, I'm just thinking in terms of the math. Obviously, Mibby was born at the very beginning of February. So let's say, so if we count backwards and there's 9 months to a pregnancy, January, actually, so we've got January, December, November, October, September, August, July, June, and then May. So
Yeah,
you
it was in May.
May, yeah. And I actually remember being, because I was at the retreat with your mom right when that was right before your dad was going off to India, and right at the time where your mom was starting to figure this out too. So I remember that time, and it was a very intense time for all of you guys. It was a really big deal.
Yeah, but around that, I mean, around that time, I mean, it's complicated.
Yeah, it is complicated.
It's just complicated.
Yeah.
Now I'm wondering what. Wait a sec. Okay, Okay, I found out somewhere after Dad left, and March was at the 7th or something, but it wasn't. It was a few months in, so
So maybe
maybe
sometime in June or
July.
July that you learned it.
Yes, but
Yeah.
it wasn't. It wasn't a month. It was
Mm-hmm.
less
Mm-hmm.
than a month,
Mm-hmm.
but less than a couple of days.
Yeah.
It,
Yeah.
it, it, it was in between,
Yeah.
somewhere in there.
Yeah. So I have another question for you. I've got two more questions for you, okay?
Okay.
So my next question for you is, what advice would you give other older brothers and sisters or other kids about becoming an older sibling?
Well, it's a lot to process because when Mivy was born, for a couple of days, Claire just wouldn't hold her. It was hard for her. She wasn't the youngest anymore. So I guess I don't know how to give that advice, but it's a lot to process.
It is.
And
It is. Well, what about if you were like, if there was a kid who was like you, what would you say to a kid like you having another sister or brother? Like, what would you say, if I could do it again, I would do this?
well, I don't know. I guess if I could do it again, which I'm slightly on the hoping that I had a little bit of it, but I could tell on my other sisters because I'm an empath, so I can tell they have feelings. That
Mm-hmm.
especially Clara. I guess my advice is don't get the hard feelings about being left out. I mean, yeah.
That's a really, really big
And
deal.
I could tell that on Clara. I could tell she was trying to go through that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and Clara was really, really used to being the one who kind of like it like
It was
always landed with her. She got the attention.
it was at least 3 days before she first holding Mavanwe.
Wow.
After the night she was born, of course, because no
So
one holds her
I've
till
actually
then.
got a question that I wasn't expecting you to ask you, but what did it feel like the very first time that you got to hold Mivy?
She, I mean,
How did it feel in your body?
it was strange. She was this tiny thing,
Yeah.
and I, she was so wait, what's the word? Sorry, I forgot the word. She was so like delicate and
Fragile?
fragile,
Yeah.
dainty. She was just this small thing, and I only holded her when she was asleep for some
Yeah.
odd reason. I always
Yeah.
came in, and they said I could hold her when she was asleep, which
Mm-hmm.
made a
Mm-hmm.
little sense, but not much.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, she was sleeping a lot.
Yes. Well, when they first come out, it's hard work being born. Yeah.
I mean, the first time I touched her, which was I just touched her hand, which it was weird. It, her skin was smoother than ours, and it was more squishy.
Yes.
I mean, the second time I touched her, which was I was putting oil on her bottom
Mm-hmm.
because they said I could do it, which I was excited because it's the only baby I remember
Yes.
to this day. I mean, I remember a couple ideas, memories. I remember seeing Mummy in the bathroom, but that's it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I felt special, and she was dainty. She was. When
I
I still got the same feeling of it being a dream when she got born. I mean, I was just so shocked.
yeah. Yeah. It's so different. You remind me of, I remember when I was probably around 4.5 or 5 years old. And I remember my little sister, she's like 3.25 years younger than me. And I remember, I must have been about five or so because she was old enough to stand. And I remember she put her hand in my hand. My mom said, hold your little sister's hand. And I remember she reached up and she put her hand in my hand, and it was the most amazing feeling because it felt like she just trusted me to protect her and to take care of her. And I felt like, I don't know if did you ever see when the Grinch Who Stole Christmas, the cartoon about the Grinch?
Yes,
And when his heart grows.
yes.
Yes, like that's what it felt like for me when my baby sister put her hand in mine. I felt like the Grinch. It was when his heart woke up. It was so special.
Yeah, she hasn't gone to that point yet,
No, not yet.
but
No.
I,
But just even that holding that tiny, tiny baby who's so dainty and just so fragile. It's
I
very
mean,
special.
baby is not fragile or dainty anymore.
Oh no,
She's
no, no.
a strong baby who never lost her head control.
No,
Never.
I know. From the very beginning, she's been able to hold her head up. She's really quite an amazing human being.
She's a
And
strong one too.
so this leads me to kind of a two-part last question for you. So the first part of the question is, what do you absolutely love about Mivi?
I just love her. There's not a single thing that I just she. I mean, there's not a thing about her. I just love her.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
there's not something special. There's not a special thing. It's just I love her and all of her.
Mm-hmm. So
No
you
one
really,
in
I really hear
particular.
you really love her unconditionally. It's not like I love her because she's happy, or I love her because she cuddles and snuggles up against me, or I love her because she likes to dance. It's you love her.
Because I love her.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. And then the final question I've got for you is, what is your favorite thing to do with your little sister right now?
Well, she loves to. I don't know if you can hear that, but I can hear her crying in the background from all the way
Because you're wearing
downstairs.
headphones, fortunately, it is being cut. It is not going into this interview, but I
Yeah,
have certainly heard her cry in the background before. Yeah.
now she's squealing.
Now she's squealing. Yeah. So what's your favorite thing to do with her?
Well, I well that's that's a very hard question.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Is there, okay, so then instead of it being your favorite thing, let's just ask it a little differently. What is one of the things that you love to do with your sister?
There's not much we can do with her at this stage. That's the whole issue. Is there's not
Mm-hmm.
much we can do with her. I mean, I build Lego with her, but I don't usually do that. I just usually just sit there and watch her wreck it all. She's the wreck-it queen.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
there's not much we can do with her yet.
But
So
do you hold her very much? Is that something you do with her, or do you dance with her?
yes, I dance with her, but she's so heavy and I'm so
Yeah,
not the biggest.
no.
It gets tiring after what like after one song. I'm done. I pass it to a different sister.
I completely understand. I totally know what you're talking about when it's sort of like holding a heavy baby. You can
Yes.
do like that's the benefit of having a dance party with a bunch of people is that you can do the pass the baby dance, and that's really awesome.
I mean, that's not happening now.
No, no. Well, and it's funny because I just heard her squeal in the background, so she did make it onto this interview. So, Bella, do you have any last things? Like, since we've had this amazing conversation, and I want to say thank you so much for talking with me about your sister and about your experience. It was awesome having a chance to chat with you. So, do you have any last things that you thought of while we were talking, or that you're like, I definitely want people to know this?
Well, I have another advice
Oh, good.
to people. It depends on your baby, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the one to judge it on this, but I see this and this happens to my Bonry. There's always these flowers that come with these outfits, and they
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
seem to hurt their head. So I'm thinking, don't keep it on as long if you're even putting them on it on, because
Mm-hmm.
those are
Mm-hmm.
going to hurt the Bonry or
Mm.
your baby, whatever baby you have.
So pay attention to the clothing.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, yeah.
that's very important.
It is very important. Well, and as an engineer, as somebody who's going towards engineering, it makes sense that you're like, oh, there's a defect in this that needs to be fixed. So you're already thinking like an engineer.
Yes. I mean, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm spending most of my time sewing though because I just can't think of anything to build with everything we have. Plus,
Mm-hmm.
our tape goes wandering everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So that's quite hard.
Yes. Do scissors wander everywhere too?
Yes. Yes, they
Yes.
do.
Oh, yeah.
Right now
Even
we're
in a
having
household of two people, scissors have a way of going on walkabout. So I can only imagine.
yes. I
Yeah.
mean, the remotes go walking usually on the runway bus, but
Mm-hmm.
they go every in a household of seven to be well, yeah, seven.
Yeah.
Everything seems to be not where you left it.
Yeah, it works that way. Even in a household of two, it can still, or three if you count Bob the pug.
Especially Mavanwi. She's one of the people who likes to move things.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's not like you can say, hey, Mivy, where did you put that? Because she's too young to answer.
She has a couple words.
That's
Like
cool.
once she said "ma," Miv.
Hmm.
She says "mum" fairly on occasions. Kaylee is "hey hey KK,"
Hey, hey, KK.
and Lola is "la la ba ba," and that's of course this is his phone name, Agu Ada or Ada Agu, but it's
Ada
always
agu.
those.
Uh-huh.
They both mean the same person, but
Right,
she has
right.
ways of saying them.
Yeah, yeah.
I
And do
mean,
you have a name?
no, but I think of myself as the person who makes her giggle because that's usually what I do.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm the person who makes her giggle, and me and C are the only ones without names so far. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure we're gonna get one
I have
sometime,
no doubt you're gonna get one soon. Yeah.
even if it's our own name. I mean, we sometimes because they're part of our pod. There are some friends that are part of our pod who
Mm-hmm.
have
Mm-hmm.
who are still social distancing, and
Yeah.
they have a little boy named Isaac, and he loves to hold my hands and pick apples with me, and he has a name for it. He calls me Bubba, like come on, Bubba, or something. Pick up an apple, Bubba.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
it, and he'll talk about he'll get excited and talk to me. I've heard from their kids in the car on the way from or back or at home apparently. They have a basement with lots of scooters in it, so he likes me to hold his hand while he goes down the stairs. It's I think I just have a way with babies.
Yeah, it sounds like you really do, Bella. Yeah.
I mean, there's one baby that is one of our friends that
Mm-hmm.
no, he there's nothing I can do. He doesn't really know me
Yeah.
because we don't see them as much.
Right.
We didn't see him as a baby. We didn't. I only met I met them only a couple it feels like a couple months ago. So he was still pretty small. I mean Isaac. I hold him when he was a small weeny baby like Mavano. He's
Mm-hmm.
known me almost all his life,
Yeah.
so it would make sense. And the other one, it's just he I feel like he just doesn't know I'm there. Like he doesn't know who I am. Like I'm
Right.
this thing.
Right. Well, and what you just said really makes me, reminds me that in what you're saying is that continuity or like people knowing somebody like from when they were born and just seeing somebody, being familiar with somebody is a really important part of how we have relationships with people and how we feel safe with people and how we love people is knowing them. And because of the pandemic, Mivy and I have been saying hi to each other via Zoom since she was born, but we haven't had a chance to see each other in person. So I hope she recognizes me when she meets me because, I have been saying hi to her, but I've never had a chance to hold her. Yeah.
Yeah, it's two things to say about one's not about Melanie, the other one is about Melanie. Melanie, she was born right before we went down to lockdown.
Yes, she
So
was.
she doesn't know people. She dives through the camera to see people. I mean, she
Mhm.
doesn't get the camera. She doesn't get like what. She's still new to all the virtual things, and she likes
Yes,
to click buttons a lot.
a lot, I'm sure. I'm sure. Yeah, I was watching a TV show last night, and it was set in the turn of the last cent, like in the late 1800s, and people had gone, or early 1900s, and people had gone to the movies, and there was an ocean on the movie screen that was like just a tide, like a wave coming in, and the whole audience like got scared and were like going ah! And they were like leaning back in their chair like that because they'd never seen a movie and they'd never seen anything, so they couldn't tell the difference between the ocean wave coming in and and just the fact that it was projected on the wall. And I think that in a weird way, with Mivy starting her life looking at screens, she's experiencing a lot of us through screens
I have
as if
another.
we're real.
Yeah, I have another fun thing.
Yeah.
Kaylee likes to talk to her best friend, um,
Hmm.
on virtual. Uh, and once, maybe actually hanged up on her because it's on the tablet and you can just click it, and she
Right, exactly.
somehow got to the leave button, and yeah,
Yeah.
that pretty much ended their conversation.
Oops.
But
Oops.
Kaylee, once maybe left, she had to call her back.
Yes, yes. And thankfully her friend was understanding. Well, we are at the end of our interview right now. Bella, it has been so much fun talking with you and talking about your future and talking about your sister and having an amazing conversation. Thank you so much.
You're
And for everybody who's been watching this interview, for all kinds of other amazing stuff with the Mommy Rebellion, do you know the URL for the Mommy Rebellion?
what?
Do you know the website for the Mommy Rebellion, or should I say? Is
Well,
it mommyrebellion.com by any chance?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's mommyrebellion.com.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, thank you again, Bella, for being part of this interview. You were absolutely awesome, and I
You're
had a
welcome.
blast.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Okay, I'm going to